Hi, good evening. Tonight's just a bit of an update on situations and a couple of explanations behind this. I would also like to thank Vauxhall Drive at Vauxhall, especially Darlington Street, for supplying me with 2 cardboard boxes. Basically, that's really appreciative of them, and that's going to help out with my current situation and current circumstances a lot. Basically, there's that, and I'm a bit stressed with my solicitor. They think I've got a bad memory. Quite frankly, I don't. I'm going to get into that now. Basically, not last Friday, the Friday before, I went to the solicitors Call Legal in Stockton. Dad got my dad up. He'd been on nights and he took me in my car. And I signed the paperwork. Normally they get people to sign the paperwork and just post it back, but I'd rather speak to someone and sign the paperwork there and then, for a couple of reasons. I didn't think I had that much ink or paper left in the printer, and if there was anything I was unsure about, I thought it was better doing it with someone face to face where I could speak if I needed to. My solicitor wasn't there. The lady that referred me had gone home early, so they signed me up with another solicitor called Kaylee, I think. I emailed my solicitor the week after, or phoned my solicitor, and she confirms some prices and everything with me. Confirmed the lot. Basically, I emailed the solicitors last week just for a photocopy of the documents that I'd signed, just so I had a photocopy. On Friday, when it was all getting a bit hectic and a bit stressful for me, I was getting a bit confused with what I found in the notes of what I'd signed. The notes were conflicting. What my solicitor had told me, and this was where I was getting confused, because my solicitor said one thing to me, and the notes, handwritten notes, were saying something else. So the notes were conflicting what my solicitor said to me, basically. I give the solicitor my support worker from Darlington Association and Disabilities number. The reason I did this was because when what happens, Darlington Association Disability might or will need to arrange some more support for me. So I thought it'd be better giving my solicitor her details so she could let Darlington Association on Disability know what was happening, so they could put procedures in place. Basically, and I think I explained this on the email, but my solicitor got confused again, and she phoned my support worker from Darlington Association Disability, and there was a bit of confusion between what my support worker told my solicitor and what my solicitor had put in an email, because my solicitor had replied to me in an email, basically. And do you think my solicitor, I think when speaking on the phone that, between her and Jane, I think that there was something said that she thinks I've got a bad memory or something, because of emails and communication that I've been making with her over the last couple of days, because of what she told me. Right. I was, as I've stated previously, I was a bit confused over the last week or so, over the last couple of days since Friday, because there was conflict between written notes and what you were saying to me. I don't know how this affects memory. When I've spoken to my mum about it and that, and it doesn't affect memory. It was confusion because the notes, the handwritten notes, were conflicting what she was saying to me. Basically, I don't really see this as a memory issue. To be honest, sister's going out. You can smell a deodorant. I don't know how this affects my memory or whatever. Yesterday, through emails, 9:27 in the morning, I got an email from my solicitor about the conflict and that. About the conflict and that. I'm going to read part of it out, but I'm not going to read all of it. Just trying to find it. Just looking, basically, I'm on it, but I just need to open the right one. New computer can't stand the mouse. Right, this is the email yesterday, 9:27 a.m. from my solicitor about the conflict. Please ignore this. Kaylee was making notes. That is not correct. Right, please ignore this. Kaylee was making notes. That is not correct. You have just admitted there that there was a mistake made by another solicitor. Sorry if I say I'm angry, I'm just a bit stressed. You have just admitted there that there was a mistake made by another solicitor. Right. I have been in contact, as I say, last week, and I've been confused because of that mistake. Because of the mistake made and the notes that were made, that was conflicting with what you have just said to me, with what you were saying last week. And you just admitted that there was a mistake involved, and it was because of that mistake of why I've been confused. Nothing to do with my memory. You have admitted that there was a mistake and I had to ignore the mistake, and it was because of that mistake why there was conflict. So all my confusion in that last week was nothing to do with my memory, it was to do with that mistake, and you've had admitted that there was a mistake there. So technically that's nothing to do with my memory, that's because of a mistake that you have made, and you're holding your hands up to that mistake. Right. Yeah, sorry if I seemed a bit angry there. I'm not, I'm just a bit stressed. And I just find it a bit contradictory with them saying I've got a bad memory when it was all caused by another solicitor's mistake that's not even my solicitor. Okay? So that's what's happening then, why I'm a bit stressed. I don't think it means I've got a bad memory. Anyone reading this or watching this, I'd like you to honestly reply, and if you had a solicitor for anything and they said one thing to you and you had photocopies of the paperwork you signed, and the paperwork you've signed has notes made on it, and the notes were conflicting the conflicting what the solicitor said, you would be confused as well, wouldn't you? My mum said she would be. You'd be confused until you've sorted it out and you've had a message from them to verify that there was a mistake. Basically, honestly answer, you would be. And you'd want to challenge it and you'd want to question it like I have. So, another thing, what I'm doing, they want me to do, I'm just going to read this out. Again, it's somewhat different. Hi Damien, you don't, or anyone, an apology please, don't worry. I'm not concerned about your memory. We just need to check for a compliance point of view that we are explaining to you the full aspects of blah de blah de blah, face to face before we can arrange for paperwork to be drafted for you to sign in, blah de blah de blah. And my manager would like to have a conversation with us all present. I didn't read this email before. Right. I can understand this. However, I think this should be available for everyone. It's the first time we're doing this. I spoke to a lot of first timers doing this before, and they said when they did this that they didn't have a clue on what was happening or the legal aspects. My mum, my dad, they didn't even have a clue either. Support workers, other people that I've worked with, like professionals and that, when they've done this, they didn't have a clue of what was going on, and they want to explain, because I've got Asperger's syndrome, they want to explain to me in a bit more detail, and a bit more clarification. However, there'll be other people out there, as I said, with other without disability, should I say, that won't have a clue as well. So you should be offering this service to everyone that does this first time, because out of all the professionals and everyone I've worked with, out of all of them, most of them didn't have a first time clue either, and it's just to basically it's just to say basically that I understand what's happening, and they're explaining things to me in the best way for them to understand what's happening. But everyone that does this first time needs to go through this exact procedure that I think. Basically, yeah, this is what's happening. If anyone has any clue of what I'm referring to here, feel free to leave your comments and explain to me, if you were the first time of doing this, were you confused? Would you have liked to have spoken to your solicitor first, regarding that you're aware of what's going on and things are explained in a clear and an understanding way, so that you understood what was happening, what you were letting yourself in for? Also, while doing this, if you think you know what it's about, when you leave your comment, please don't leave in the comment what you think it's about, as I don't want people to
know what I'm doing exactly. If you leave a comment like this, the comment will be deleted. Thank you and good night.